and guaranteed best prices. Belfort Furniture, Washington's largest furniture mattress store.
Good morning, America. The new alert as blistering heat spreads coast to coast. Temperatures soaring past 100 degrees out west as thousands of firefighters battle more than 60 dangerous wildfires. In a record rainfall flooding Houston, a family of 5 trapped in this car rescued and entire neighborhoods underwater.
Brand new images, the treacherous conditions inside that cave where the soccer team is trapped. 2 of the young boys celebrating their birthdays inside as rescuers race to drill holes to stop the flooding. The new plan to get them free.
Statue of Liberty standoff. This protester evading police, scaling Lady Liberty's leg, shutting down the popular tourist site for hours. What we're now learning about why she did it.
ABC News exclusive, vacation nightmare. The young woman soaring out of control for 45 minutes when her parasailing rope broke free, now telling her story for the first time only on GMA.
In love at first flight. The 2 strangers captivating the internet. The woman behind them tweeting every moment. So did that couple find true love? What the soccer player at the center of it all is saying this morning.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Good morning, America. It's great to have you all with us on this Thursday morning. We hope you guys had a wonderful 4th of July. How about you two?
Very nice. Went to bed early, but it was lovely. So many big celebrations last night, like these fireworks. Take a look at this New York City, amazing skyline. And let's look at Los Angeles, dozens of shows all over the city. I do regret that I didn't get to stay up and see
we didn't have to stay up because there it is right there.
But I was awake and I was in the city. I saw none of that.
You didn't?
No.
Fog or just went to
he was
inside?
No,
don't answer that.
I don't know what happened.
It's called sleeping. All right. We begin with that wild weather across the country. From dangerous heat to those devastating wildfires, at least 64 fires are burning right now in 14 states. ABC's Will Carr is in Yolo County, California, where a massive fire has scorched more than 80,000 acres. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Amy. These fire trucks are just off the front lines. There are thousands of firefighters battling these record-setting fires. Now, here in California, they are making progress, but the danger is far from over. This morning, wildfires scorching every state in the West. The county fire in Northern California burning through 86,000 acres. 1,000 homes and buildings threatened and 2,500 people evacuated. Firefighters gaining some ground, but still battling those dangerous winds and brutal heat. We've watched as these flames have raced down this hillside. This brush, bone dry, perfect fuel for this fire. While in Colorado, a 1-2 punch. The massive spring fire still growing, now at nearly 100,000 acres, the 3rd largest in Colorado history, more than 100 homes destroyed. While further north, a new fire exploding Wednesday.
Oh my God, this is so bad. The whole mountain is now on fire.
The Lake Christine fire, 0% contained. Helicopters and air tankers dousing the flames as officials order new evacuations. Hundreds already forced from their homes.
I was worried about this from the middle of winter when there was no snow, that this was going to be a bad wildfire season, and here it is.
Add it all up, and at this point in California, we've had 260 more fires this year than at the same point last year. And last year, was one of the worst ever in the state's history. Michael.
All right, thank you so much for that, Will. And, you know, this heat across the country showing no sign of easing up, making it harder to contain those fires. 75 million Americans in 22 states are under heat watches this morning, and Ginger has the latest forecast. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Michael. It was the hottest 4th of July on record from Watertown and Buffalo, New York to Haines, Alaska, and now we're still seeing all those heat advisories, not only in the Northeast, Midwest, but also the red flag warnings and excessive heat watches in the Southwest, because it is only building with this dome of high pressure in the Southwest. The Haines Index, that's a wildfire measurement of how much moisture is in the atmosphere, is at 6. That's its highest level. So really bad fire conditions. 120 Death Valley, 111 Las Vegas, Palm Springs for tomorrow, 116. Then we had all that flooding, up to 8 inches of rain in Houston. That's exactly where we find our Marcus Moore this morning. Good morning, Marcus.
Well, Ginger, good morning. That record rainfall causing problems here in Houston. And take a look at the Buffalo Bayou just behind me. You may be able to see that strong current still draining the water that paralyzed parts of this region. Overnight, extreme flash flooding stranding drivers and triggering rescues across Houston. Entire neighborhoods underwater. The rapid downpour sweeping through the city, at one point dropping as much as 4 inches every hour. Roads washed away, this sinkhole opening up, nearly swallowing a car. And just look at this highway, completely flooded.
There's flooding and there's at least 4 stalled vehicles.
Reports of more than 120 drivers calling into Houston police because they were stranded in floodwater.
We were expecting 2 to 3 inches of rain for the entire day. Mother Nature had its own way of calling on us.
Jose Figueroa was driving home when he sprang into action, rescuing a family of 5 trapped inside their car.
Luckily, they could roll down their windows and get out. It was very scary, I have to admit.
The deluge dampening the holiday spirit. Houston's Freedom Over Texas concerts canceled. And these giant letters seen here at the park once spelled out Houston. Now a reminder of yet another holiday flood event. And all of this is reminiscent of Hurricane Harvey that hit almost a year ago. And for some perspective, that bridge just behind me, at that time, the water was up to that bridge, at least 25 feet above the water level this morning. And Michael, parts of your hometown certainly still recovering from that devastating storm and still drying out from yesterday's downpour.
You're all right, Marcus. They're still recovering after going through so much over the last year. Thank you so much for that. And now to the protest that shut down the Statue of Liberty on Independence Day. A woman climbing the base of the statue, forcing Liberty Island to be evacuated. ABC's Whit Johnson is here with more. And Whit, she was up there for almost 3 hours before police finally arrested her.
Michael, that's exactly right. That woman's holiday climb prompting a massive response. Thousands of confused tourists unable to see the iconic statue. Liberty Island shutting down on what the Park Service calls its busiest week of the year.
Dramatic final moments in an hours-long 4th of July standoff. A woman taken down by police after climbing the Statue of Liberty. Police getting her into a safety harness.
Rescue 14 to the Statue of Liberty.
The woman, now identified as 44-year-old Teresa Okumu of Staten Island, starting her dangerous ascent around 3 p.m., slipping away from police over and over. Okumu, seen here, sitting on the famous landmark's pedestal, later lying down, kicking her feet into the air, at times holding up a shirt reading "Rise and Resist" and "Trump Care makes us sick." Incredibly, even scaling Lady Liberty's leg.
An unauthorized person climbing the Statue of Liberty at this time.
Authorities forced to evacuate the island, rushing tourists to safety.
We could see her crawling on her hands and knees around it, and then we saw her trying to scale up it.
Officers using a rope and ladder taking Okumu into custody after about 3 hours. 7 of her fellow members of the group Rise and Resist also arrested at the statue, protesting President Trump's immigration policy and hanging a banner reading "Abolish ICE." But the group insists they knew nothing about Okumu's plans.
We had no idea. She didn't discuss it with anybody. We had no idea that she was going to do this.
And Teresa Okumu is expected to appear in Manhattan federal court today. U.S. Parks Police say she's facing a number of possible charges, including trespassing, disorderly conduct, and interfering with government functions. I mean, it was quite a spectacle out there.
It's actually fortunate that she didn't get hurt.
Exactly, or anybody else for that matter.
All right, thank you so much, Whit.
All right, thanks, guys. We want to turn now to Thailand and the race to free the soccer team trapped in that flooded cave. We have brand new images just coming in. You can see how tough those conditions are. Rescuers drilling holes and installing pipes to create a dam, trying to divert water from flowing in. ABC's James Longman is at the cave entrance. And James, an official is now saying they may take the boys out in stages.
That's right, Cecilia. The local Thai governor here saying that they want to be 100% sure that the kids are 100% fit before they try to bring any of them out. And a member of our team actually has just spoken to one of the divers who says that what they might do is try to make bigger holes inside the cave to prevent the boys from having to ever put their head under the water. They do not want to force them to dive. It is just too dangerous. Rescuers moving quickly this morning, bringing air tanks, wetsuits and dozens of life jackets to that stranded soccer team before the impending monsoon moves in. Inside, video showing divers holding against dangerously strong currents. The team's putting in ropes to create a guide for the boys to follow through the labyrinth of caverns. And outside, they're training new divers, building dams, and running pumps around the clock, pulling water out of the cave at an enormous rate. And now the tireless effort seemingly paying off. Authorities say half of that daunting 2.9-mile trek has drained enough that it is accessible without scuba gear. One official telling me that once the water comes down below neck level in the other caves, and at the moment it's here, they hope to fit the boys with life jackets and float them out, one by one. To get a sense of what the team is facing, we went to another cave nearby. These caves go on for such a long way. This one goes on for something like a quarter mile, and even thinking about that just kind of gives you the creeps. It's cold, it's damp, it smells. And now we're learning more about the boys trapped inside. This is 16-year-old Knight. He didn't show up to his own birthday party, which is how the group was first discovered missing. This boy, called Titan, huddled in the back row, is the youngest at just 11 years old. Right next to him, 15-year-old Nick, giving the victory sign. And 13-year-old Dom, seen here smiling for the camera, also spent his birthday trapped in the cave. His mother posting this photo on Tuesday, showing him and his coach during a past celebration. And as we speak, officials are still trying to get that phone line down, but they keep being hampered by the water. Parents here still desperate to speak to their little boys. Amy?
James, thank you. Joining us now, the USAF captain, Jessica Tate. Captain Tate, thanks for being with us this morning. And we know the impending rains and the monsoon are your biggest concerns right now. Talk a little bit about how the efforts are going to pump all that water out of the cave.
The conditions are very ever-changing and very treacherous. You know, when you think about the niche of cave diving, that probably in the spectrum of diving is one of the most difficult forms of diving. You also have the environmental conditions, conditions of the children that to consider, as well as the weather. All these factors are going into the decision-making process, and as we participate in this Thai-led multinational search and rescue operation.
And as you look at your options, Captain Tate, I understand that the best plan right now may be to actually float the boys out of that cave using life jackets. Are you optimistic about this plan?
Every course of action that they look at, we provide factors, the risk factors involved, looking at the conditions, and really just kind of where we can support. Whatever decisions made on how to best extract the children in the safest way possible, we're going to be here and back our Thai partners on that.
Yeah, and we've seen some of the videos of the boys. They appear to be doing well. Do you have any updates on their conditions, how they're doing?
You have everyone working together here around the clock. Putting all their best ideas forth, looking at all the different considerations when it comes to the rain, when it comes to, you know, cave diving and the treacherous conditions there. Everything's going into it, but we're fully supportive and working together.
I know those families are there waiting for any word about their potential plan out of that cave. Jessica Tate, Captain Tate, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, ma'am.
We are certainly wishing them well, Amy. Thank you. We want to turn to Washington now, where President Trump is just days away from announcing his Supreme Court pick, and there is serious lobbying happening behind the scenes. Our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, joins us now. John, some conservatives have made it known that they are not happy with one of the president's top picks.
Good morning, Cecilia. Well, the president has a list that he says he is working on from 25 conservatives. 7 of those he has spoken to already, we are told, by White House officials. One of them, you see him in the top row, is Judge Brett Kavanaugh, who is seen by some on the right as insufficiently conservative because of positions that he has written on Obamacare and on abortion. He has received calls from some conservative Republican senators, including Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, and Tom Cotton. But we're told, Cecilia, that Brett Kavanaugh is still very much on the president's short list.
And there's lobbying going on the other side as well, John. Liberals are increasing the pressure on 2 moderate Republicans who they are hoping might buck the president's pick.
Those 2 moderate Republicans, they are the only 2 in the Senate who are pro-abortion rights. They are Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski. Both have, although I must point out, Cecilia, both of them have voted for every single Republican justice that has come up since they have been in the Senate, about 1/3 of the Supreme Court. So we'll see where that goes. But there's also intense pressure on moderate Democrats. There are 3 Democratic senators who voted for Neil Gorsuch, the president's first pick. All 3 are up for re-election in this year. You see Heidi Heitkamp, Joe Donnelly, and Joe Manchin, and Republicans are putting pressure on them to vote yes on whoever the president ultimately picks.
The president says he'll make that choice in just a couple of days. Okay, John, thanks. Amy?
Cecilia oversees now to a major development in that poisoning mystery in the UK. Scotland Yard saying the couple fell critically ill just miles away from where that former Russian spy and his daughter were poisoned months ago. They were actually sickened by the very same nerve agent. And ABC's Eva Pilgrim has the latest.
This morning, a counterterrorism investigation underway into that deepening poison mystery. 2 people are fighting for their lives. Authorities confirming through tests they were exposed to the Russian nerve agent Novichok, the same nerve agent used against a former Russian spy and his daughter 4 months ago. This new case just 7 miles away from where that pair was poisoned.
The priority for the investigation team now is to establish how these 2 people have come into contact with this nerve agent.
Police at first thought this was a case of 2 people taking contaminated drugs. But this video capturing a first responder wearing protective gear, perhaps the first clue it was something more. One of the victim's friends describing his condition soon after he became ill.
He was making funny noises and he was rocking backwards and forwards.
The 2 identified by friends in British media as 45-year-old Charlie Rowley and 44-year-old Don Sturgis are in critical condition. Investigators now retracing their steps, taping off the places they are thought to have been last. 2 of their last stops in Salisbury, just steps from where former Russian spy Sergei Skripal was exposed to Novichok in March. The couple now being treated at the same hospital as the father and daughter, as officials try to determine if more of that deadly agent could still be out there, putting more people at risk.
Novichoks are quite persistent. They maintain their toxicity for months, whereas older nerve agents only last for hours.
And still a lot of questions this morning. What we do know, this hospital is once again trying to keep 2 people alive that were exposed to that same deadly nerve agent. Now, the Kremlin has responded, a spokesperson saying they are concerned about this new poisoning, but once again denying any Russian involvement. Amy?
All right, Eva Pilgrim, so frightening for anyone who lives in that area.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you for that, Amy. We're going to go now to a 4th of July tradition. Yeah, there he is, Joey Chestnut. He has a brand new record. He is the famous 11-time champ of Nathan's hot dog eating contest on Coney Island. He took the mustard belt again this year, beating his own record. He downed 74 hot dogs in just 10 minutes. And when they asked him, how did you do that? He said, I found a vicious rhythm. He found a vicious rhythm, 74 hot dogs, 10 minutes, and Mickey Sudo was the top woman. She ate 37 franks.
Why?
She is the hot dog queen for the 5th year in a row. Why do you 2 look like that?
It actually makes me physically ill to see that.
You know what?
I feel
and this is the one morning I showed up and I said, I'm buying these 2 breakfasts. I'm bringing in some hot dogs, and now you don't even want
This is the one thing that does the opposite. The last thing you want to eat after this is a hot dog.
While they had that playing, and you can't finish your meal. It's like, oh, please.
I tried to do something nice. I guess breakfast isn't on me today.
Ginger, save us, please.
I can't because my mother-in-law saw that and she loves hot dogs. She said she wanted more after it. There are people. Sunny City is now sponsored by CarMax.
When you buy a used car, you should feel confident. That's why CarMax has over 40,000 cars to choose from nationwide, with prices clearly marked, the same online as they are in the stores. That should give you some car buying confidence, the type of confidence you need to wear white after Labor Day, the type of confidence to suddenly switch to an English accent for no reason whatsoever. Yep, at CarMax, it's all about confidence. Nothing but net. Nailed it. Or should I say, nailed it, governor.
Not quite as hot today, but wow, still sultry. Temperatures topping out at around 90 degrees, but the end of the heat wave, day 7 here, then a strong cold front will come into the area way out here over the Midwest for this afternoon. It's going to bring a change by early Saturday morning. We'll be starting out in the 50s in some neighborhoods. This weekend, 80 to 82 degrees, looking dry with lots of sunshine. Temperatures climb to the 90s next week, but with lower humidity.
Coming up next, that ABC News exclusive, the young woman badly injured in that parasailing accident when the rope broke, sending her soaring out of control for 45 minutes. Well, she's now telling her story right here on GMA.
And the new warning as temperatures soar across the country, it is not just those metal slides that can seriously injure your child in the park.
My mom's pain from moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis